Time to head through SmackDown vs. Raw 2006 to try to figure out which show's season mode is faster to complete. I wanted to make the comparison with overall again, but that can't be done unless I create a wrestler and, well, maybe that'll happen sometime in the future, who knows. Now before we just leap into the season mode, let's introduce a new set of rules. Rule 1, no weapons. We've made it this far without really having to rely on them, but this rule is in place just so we don't get desperate enough to use them. Rule 2, and the reason why we might just be desperate enough to do it. We must play on legend difficulty, and somehow this is far more difficult than any other difficulty in the past games. Rule 3, no forced countouts. In the other games, this rule kind of feels like it would slow the run down, but for the purposes of this one, it just might be the fastest way to win these matches. So we can't do it. And Rule 4, we must win at WrestleMania 21 as the World Heavyweight Champion. Alright, with that in mind, I'm Dragon DDT, and I swear to you that the legend difficulty in this game is far tougher than any of the other ones. Pair that with my bad reversal skills, and you have a nightmare waiting to happen. I decided on Edge for this one because his overall isn't too strong, nor is it too weak, which to me makes him the perfect benchmark. First, we're greeted by Triple H and Ric Flair in a storyline entitled Uneasy Allies, and playing the previous games did nothing to prepare me for the insane amount of reversals. Oh yeah, the reversal nonsense just made me forget. There will be no timer in this game because there's already one there. Yeah, right there. Aside from that, I'll mention the overall time, but it's not really that important for the sake of comparison. Nonetheless, the strat for this game is more the same, but slightly different. Unlike Here Comes the Pain and SmackDown vs. Raw, the turnbuckles do more damage when exposed, plus it fills the momentum faster if you're dirty or a heel for the rest of us. With that being the case, that's going to be the main strat for SmackDown vs. Raw 2006. The match ends with an execution after 3 minutes and 9 seconds, and that's amazing because the times that come after this aren't really as quick. Shelton Benjamin joins us to take on the World Heavyweight Champion and Ric Flair because he thought we needed help after they ambushed us after the last match. We take his help and focus on returning the beatdown to these guys. The plan is basically to rely on the hammer throw into the exposed corner, hit as many spears as possible, and hit our finisher if possible. With both Triple H and Flair's body in the red, we tag Benjamin in to let him get some action. So the pin is broken up because I thought I had control over Benjamin, which I don't. Maybe if I knew that beforehand, the match wouldn't have lasted as long as it did. The match comes to a close after Flair gets caught in a roll-up and we grab the game by his ankle. I think the game calls what Shelton did playing possum or something like that. This week we take on Nature Boy number 2 in a submission match, and Triple H is at ringside because these two don't appear to do anything solo. This match is full of reversals, as you should come to expect by now, but the best part is that we remembered to work on his head. If the past games taught me anything, it's to work on the head in these kind of matches. Eventually we managed to get a chin lock on Nate, but someone please tell me what the hell is this? I'm tapping the button as fast as possible and the needle doesn't even move the right way. I almost lost confidence in winning after seeing that, until we get Nature Boy number 2 in a crossface. I don't know what the hell was different that time, but whatever. Let's just move on. We find ourselves at SmackDown to give these two clowns a receipt for the beatdown they gave us after the submission match with Flair. Every match has ended with us getting our ass kicked so far. What is this, the Attitude Era? Triple H is our partner this time, and I'm guessing that's what they meant by Uneasy Allies. Nonetheless, take a look at the damage we were able to do on Big Show in 36 seconds with just a spear and an exposed turnbuckle. That's crazy. But the craziest part of the match was that it wasn't even him that got pinned, even after getting beaten down so badly, so quickly. I would have bet that Show was going to get pinned, but that's why I'm not a betting man. SummerSlam is the first pay-per-view of this game, which is odd because it's usually been Judgment Day for every game up until this one. This is a rematch from last week, but this time, Rick is our manager and there aren't tornado tag rules. Triple H fights most of the match to start with, but eventually we find ourselves in the ring, setting up Cena for a spear. Nothing happens for a long time until we head outside to chase after Cena and Show. We start to fight against the Giant, then get a DQ win when a steel chair smacks us upside the head. Thanks a lot. After the pay-per-view, we managed Shelton Benjamin to make sure Triple H and Flair don't screw him over. However, since we aren't wrestling in this match, it won't count, so let's just move on. Benjamin wins with his T-bone suplex, by the way, if anyone cares. The week after, we switch out with Benjamin to take on Triple H. He's in charge of making sure nothing screwy happens while we beat down the game. Now's the time to talk about the downside of relying on the exposed corner. Your opponent will always use it too. I will say, the only reason we lost, besides getting bodied, was because I didn't know how to get Benjamin on the apron to distract the ref. This might just be the fastest we've lost a match throughout all the games we've played so far. We get a World Heavyweight Championship match at Unforgiven in a steel cage after only 6 matches. If we win, that would make this the quickest time we won the top title in all of our runs. Although, after the last match, I'm not exactly confident that we can beat him anymore. We give as well as we get in this match, and that's to be expected against Triple H. He's really tough to beat, and that's probably why he's a champion. The game takes us to the top and gives us another suplex, and when he slams us to the mat, the door opens. He crawls over to escape, and I'm shitting myself the entire time. Luckily, we stop him and turn the tides on him by doing the exact same thing he did to us. Somehow, we escape and win the world title. Or not. This game screws you at every chance and never gives you a chance to recover. Well, I guess this is the recovery period because we're in a new storyline entitled Legends Tour. We're taking on the British Bulldog. How can anyone stay upset for long after learning they get to meet Davey Boy? We have no trouble hurting the Bulldog's body using the spear and the exposed turnbuckle as usual. The only problem is pinning the damn guy. He won't stay down and I don't know what to do. Finally, he stays down after another spear. Why did it work that time and not the others? Fuck if I know. Next, we have one of the best of all time, Bret Hitman Hart, in a match best suited for him, a submission match. So far, we've had 2 of the greatest wrestlers of all time, both in a submission match. I really hope that doesn't become a trend because I'm not into tapping buttons as hard and as fast as I can. We come at this match the same way we did against Nature Boy number 2. We work on his head in hopes to tap him out with a chin lock or a crossface. We bust the Hitman wide open with an execution, then go for a chin lock. It doesn't quite go as hoped, but I suppose we should expect this guy not to want to tap out. Next, we give him a crossface in hopes to get him to tap out, but of course it doesn't happen. Finally, we get a tap out win after a chin lock. I'm so done with these match types already. They throw the main event match types at you so fast in this game. We have a triple threat Hell in a Cell match with Taker and Mankind. Why would you put us in a match like this with these two? The last time they were in this match, someone got a tooth stuck in their nose. This match is total chaos, as most Hell in a Cells are, but my favorite part comes, well, here. We show both guys to different exposed turnbuckles and give them each 2 drop kicks. We slam our shoulder into Taker's abdomen and successfully pin his shoulders to the mat. Stone Cold is our partner in this match against The Rock and Hulk Hogan. And, well, there's the Mouth of the South, Jimmy Hart at ringside. Woo. I know I say these multi-man matches are chaotic quite a lot, but this one is mostly because no one could get the win in a little over 14 minutes. I'm scratching my head trying to figure out what went wrong in this match, but I'll let you see the lead up to and the finish. We end up getting the win, but only after Hulk Hogan bitch slapped the referee enough times until he got tired of it and just DQ'd him. If 4 people in the ring was a clusterfuck, then what the hell do you call being in the ring with 6 people? While you figure that out, let's just move on to the eliminations. The first one out is the Real American who fights for the rights of every man after taking an execution. Now he can watch us win from ringside. Stone Cold Steve Austin is out next after getting thrown into the corner and taking an execution. I'm actually surprised he stayed down after how long it took the ref to notice the pin. Mankind is the next one eliminated after a throw into the corner followed by a spear. If more guys stayed down after just 1 spear, this run would be over before you know it. I just wish the ref would start his count a little quicker. Do you remember how Mankind got eliminated? Great, because Rock gets eliminated the exact same way. The only difference is the ref is actually more competent this time. Brett takes a little longer to beat down because he reverses like a madman, but we finally pin him after ducking under his arm to hit him with a spear. What a fitting place to fight Steve Austin, don't you think? It's kinda sad because I bet all he wanted to do was knock back a few beers and we're over here kicking his ass. I'm really sorry, Austin, but I think this is for your own good. I'm not really sure. I skipped the cutscenes, so I don't know why we're here. Nonetheless, we give him a clothesline over the bar counter, then send him into the jukebox before putting him away with our finisher. Hope he forgives us when he wakes up. So we find this guy in the parking lot and start fighting him for what I assume to be no good reason. We eventually decide to stop fighting him and try to get away because this is pointless. We throw him into the back of JBL's limo, then jump into a car whose windshield has seen better days. The only problem is we can't exactly see where we're going because of the damn windshield. An accident just happens right before our very eyes, and instead of calling the police, we celebrate that we made it out alive because our priorities are in the right place. I'm sure someone will call for help, right? Looks like we're now in a storyline called Time to Rumble. I guess the Royal Rumble is soon. I wouldn't know because there hasn't been a pay-per-view since Unforgiven, and we've wrestled about 7 matches since then. This triple threat match is to determine who the 30th entrant in the Royal Rumble will be. The winner becomes number 30, and the one that takes the loss is number 1, while the other guy is number 15. This match is most notable for the evolution of the turnbuckle strat. We run back and forth, throwing them into the corner until their bodies are red. We make a foolish mistake by covering HBK. We should have pinned the other one. After a few minutes of nothing happening, we eventually pin the other one to become the last entrant in the Royal Rumble. This week we see a 6-man over the top rope battle royal to fill time. To get a small taste of what might happen at the Royal Rumble. Benoit is the first man out after a few kicks. He was weakened beforehand, so don't go around thinking our kicks were OP or anything like that. The next guy out is Shelton Benjamin after being double teamed by Eugene and Daivari. HBK is thrown out seconds later after having his body critically damaged by the best strat in all of these games, it seems. Eugene is the next one to go after Daivari throws him over the top and we assist him with the elimination. Sorry Eugene, maybe you'll do better in the actual Rumble. We win this over the top rope challenge after throwing out a badly hurt Daivari. Maybe this match is a glimpse at what'll happen at the Royal Rumble after all. We finally make our way to the ring after 28 minutes, and we only have 4 other guys standing in our way from being the number 1 contender for the world title. I'm sure you can tell by the timer that we are well past the 28-minute mark. Yeah, that's because it takes 2 minutes before someone gets eliminated, and that someone just happens to be the dead man. The next one out is Rene Dupree. He goes out without putting up a fight because he's in red health. Just like the Big Show. After giving Big Match John a spear, we throw him over the ropes and become number 1 contender for the title we would be wearing if not for Bischoff. Next we find ourselves in a parking lot brawl to teach JBL a lesson for trying to steal the titles with Bischoff to make another wrestling product. Even though that sounds completely ridiculous, the worst part about it is the fact that we don't actually teach him a lesson. Instead, JBL completely bodies us and hits us with the clothesline from hell to hand us our second loss. Another tag match against Triple H and Flair. If Hurricane wasn't standing in our corner, I would have sworn I reset this damn game. Well, seeing as our other loss came at the hands of Triple H, we should maybe take this one a little bit more seriously. Honestly, we did a lot of good work in this match, but I think it was rigged because Hurricane did everything he could to get us DQ'd, and guess what? It worked. Thanks a lot for your help, you fake ass superhero. Are you kidding? Another submission match against Ric Flair? Did they really just recycle the first storyline and swap out Shelton Benjamin for bitch ass Hurricane? Okay, look, I'm already over this match, so let's just cut to the finish before I lose my mind. Once again, we tap out Nature Boy number 2 with a crossface, and hopefully he's done with submission matches forever. Chris Jericho is standing in our way on the road to WrestleMania, and it's time to take him to the woodshed. Early on, he reversed quite a bit, but after throwing him into the corner enough times to get his body into red health, we finish him with the execution. This is just the match we needed to make us look stronger while we get closer and closer to WrestleMania. Next week we have a TLC match against Jericho, and I'm feeling really good about this one. This guy was so easy to beat last week, there's no way he can stop us. Flair's out here to run interference, but as long as he stays standing outside the ring like usual, this shouldn't be much of a problem. What the hell? Flair, get out of the ring. Ref, do your job. Get off me, you old fuck. What makes it worse is that we lose to a damn Northern Lights suplex, and I'm breaking my thumb tapping the button. Fuck Flair. This time we have a first blood match against Chris Jericho, and as much as I wish it were Flair so we can beat the shit out of him, this dumbass will just have to do. I hate that I'm upset with Jericho when it's actually Flair that pissed me off. Oh well. We spend a lot longer than I liked fighting this guy, but after throwing him into the exposed turnbuckle, we bust him wide open with an execution, hopefully putting him behind us for the rest of this run. Oh hell yeah, we get a chance to take out our frustrations on this washed up fossil. We beat his ass the fastest we've beaten anyone so far, and his caretaker was at ringside to witness it. That's what you get for costing us a TLC match, Grandpa. And oh yeah, Brett was always better than you. Alright, I think I've gotten all that evil out of my system, so let's get back to a nice, wholesome video, shall we? Triple H teams up with Nate again, and we team up with a guy we got into a car accident with in the parking lot. Hey, it looks like he recovered from the incident well enough. Thank God he didn't file a police report because I don't have any insurance. Anyways, there's a match going on. Let's talk about that instead. The game has his body worked over and he fails to reverse, allowing us to take his body into red health. The spear should have finished him off, but Flair breaks up the pin. The match ends via countout, which is a violation of the rules, but those are rules just for us. That means this is our 5th loss of the run, which is the most we've lost in any of the runs so far. Now do you see what I mean by saying this game is the hardest up to this point? Welcome to WrestleMania 21. We have a Hell in a Cell match with the game Triple H, and I'm so glad that Nate isn't here to help him. I honestly don't think I can look at that man the same way after this. Nonetheless, let's just focus on winning the title that we should have won at Unforgiven. Triple H just takes pleasure in reversing every single thing that we do, and it's annoying. It's so infuriating. I want to snap his neck. After all that reversing, we finally score the win and the World Heavyweight Championship after hitting an Edge-O-Matic. That's the only time we hit that move the entire time, and it gives us the win on the grandest stage of them all. Now, let's have a look at some stats. Out of 26 matches, we won 21 and lost 5. The shortest match was 1 minute and 45 seconds against Ric Flair because he had no gimmicks or no friends to help him against us. The longest match was 34 minutes and 38 seconds in the Royal Rumble match, obviously. The average time for each match was 7 minutes and 33 seconds, which means the total time from bell to bell was 3 hours, 16 minutes and 18 seconds, shaving off 46 minutes and 34 seconds from our overall time of 4 hours, 2 minutes and 52 seconds. There were definitely fewer matches in this game compared to the rest, but as you can tell by the times and the 5 losses we picked up, this game is by far the hardest of them all. I understand that some of that has to do with my poor reversal skills, but I'm quite sure most of it has to do with the AI reversing far more in this game than any of the others we've played so far. With that said, I hope you enjoyed this video and will join me in the next one to see how well we do with the SmackDown season mode.